welcome to a very special episode of Ramble On. Sorry, no heels up this week because of the holidays. We kind of took Christmas and New Year's off. So this is our kind of makeup New Year's episode for you guys. We are doing one of my favorite movies, a gem that I discovered. I've got to give credit to Red Letter Media on this one because they did a review of it. And after watching the review, I was like, I got to fucking find this movie. And it's rapidly become one of my favorite flicks. And so I push it off on you bastards today.
Yeah.
And forced you guys to watch it. But Freaked, 1993, which was an absolutely bizarre acid trip of a film. So first impressions, Joey.
The intro, I thought I was going to have a seizure watching it.
So that's all like clay bricks, and then they slice off a piece at a time and then film it a little like after each slice. So yeah, to think like as the image changes as they slice down, I think mold that whole thing out as it goes. That's just something I don't think I could ever. I'm not that talented.
A lot of time and patience to do that. And no, but other than that, I really enjoyed it. I love weird shit like this. So I was all about it.
This is an absolutely bizarre film.
It is very, very bizarre. The intro is very MTV-esque.
Well, okay, so these guys, what's his name? Alex Winters? Winter.
Yeah.
The Winters or Winter?
I think there's only one of them, so Alex Winter.
Should probably look this up, right?
Yeah, I mean, the case is right there in front of you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Winter.
Yeah, I was right. One of them.
Oh, sorry.
There's one Alex Winter.
All right, so Alex Winter had Idiot Box, and they were definitely influential on that early MTV style. So it's not like necessarily MTV influencing the style of this movie so much as they were the guys who kind of developed that style in the first place. So of course it's in this film. And I was too young for Idiot Box. Apparently it's very abrasive humor as well. I've seen clips of it too. The opening segment, is them doing Goodfellas with Alex Winter getting stabbed in a trunk while delivering the opening monologue, like, "Hey, welcome to the show," while he's just getting knifed. Your kind of humor. I mean, really.
Oh yeah, that's right up my alley.
I thought you'd enjoy this. So I saw you were miserable the entire time. Right?
I believe I kind of disassociated there towards the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, just had an out of body experience.
Yeah, just after Stockman died, I just
after Bobcat Goldthwait ate it, you just couldn't do it anymore.
After we lost Mitch Connor.
At least you made it that far.
The cameos in this movie, though, this is one of those movies where you're like, how the fuck did they get this person to do this? Like,
I was thinking that through most of it.
Like
everyone in it.
Brooke Shields being the main one.
Yeah, that one caught me by surprise. Mr. T was a surprise, considering how popular he was, especially then.
Yeah.
Like, if that movie was made now and Mr. T was in it, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Especially the tough guy image he had at the time, they come out the A-Team and Rocky, and here he is playing the bearded lady.
Yeah.
A woman, I like me. He was the most contented being the freak. Like, it was, like, it's funny because of how progressive that moment was compared to, any sensitive viewers need to leave, and the gay couple gets up and walks out. You're like, oh, that wouldn't fly today. That wasn't.
Yeah, that would not work.
Not to mention all the incredibly anti-feminist stuff in it.
There was a lot of that, but there was also a lot of that in the early 90s as well. So I mean, that's not a.
To be fair, I think it went equally hard both with the chauvinists and the feminists. Yeah, pairing them together and making them.
It really did. Yeah, they did the two extremes at each other. It was just kind of interesting how they did that.
So,
while still not actually having a message. That's the part I like the most is they went that way for nothing.
No, yeah, there's no moral to this story.
None.
There's no you learn something at the end. Like even South Park tries to be like, I learned something today. There's nothing there's nothing like that here.
Yeah, no wheel of morality at the end of this episode. Yeah.
No, and even in the end, spoiler, the little kid who gets turned into a monster, Stewie. Like one of the things that got cut out of there, is at the end, Stewie's holding that garbage bag.
Rick! Hey! Rick! Stewie!
Yeah. At the last goodbye scene or whatever.
Uh-huh.
That was supposed to be body parts of victims he had serial killed. And that was his lunch. That was his lunch because he's still a monster and he was eating people.
Oh, that makes me happy.
The child abuse in this. I think you laughed harder at the child abuse than anything else.
There's something about a child being thrown out of a plane and then thrown through glass plate windows. It warms my heart.
It made me feel even better knowing that the guy being thrown through the plate glass windows was
Deep
Roy, and I fucking hate the remake of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So he kind of had that one coming, really.
He just paid it in advance.
Yeah,
Yeah. He took those lumps first.
He's like, I know what's coming in my career. Just
Tim
I'm
Burton.
gonna ruin ever so many people's childhoods. I'll just
Tim Burton's gonna come knocking. I may as well get thrown through glass now. I'll get it over with.
apparently he got cut on one of those takes like pretty badly. So
That sucks.
again, go see Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Your sympathy runs out real quickly.
Very quickly.
The story here is that Alex Winter plays Billy Coogan, former child star and sleazebag, and he gets in bed with a chemical company or a company that makes everything but shoes, everything except shoes. That's the name of the company, EES.
Yeah.
And they have this chemical compound, Zygot 24. And they want Billy to, be the spokesperson for it, even though it's supposed to be harmful for the environment and
So
stuff.
be toxic and yeah.
Yeah, and in 1993 money, they offer him $5 million, and he's like down for it, right? Just like the diversity in his entourage and like the Asian Ultimate Warrior behind him.
Yeah.
That was
But he looked like a pro wrestler to me. I was like, he kind of covered everything. You got like the guy in the suit in the back next to the what looked like the, and you have like the Ultimate Warrior looking dude, and it was a good
eclectic bunch.
very.
Let us say that we're not we're inclusive in this, in this terribly, terribly dated movie that's still fucking hilarious.
Whereas to the other side, you had the Bernie CEOs.
Oh.
The Weekend at Bernie CEOs.
Well, that is if the board agrees. Gentlemen, all those in favor? Good. It's unanimous.
Yeah. So
I loved them so much.
Oh, what's his name? Death, playing the corporate bad guy here. So I can't keep my phone down.
Look, I know you recognize the name.
Yeah, William Sadler.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, William Sadler's in this, and so is Keanu Reeves, and there's a couple other people I think from the Bill and Ted movies that make appearances. Although that can push me to figure out which ones. I do love that those three are in this movie together.
Same.
I'll watch those three do anything, honestly.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I even watched the new Bill and Ted movie, which was all right.
I liked it. I actually I enjoyed it. It took me 2 days to watch it because I kept falling asleep. Not because of the movie or anything. It's just I just happened to fall asleep.
I do wish that that old Willie boy had a little more to do in the new one, Death. But what are you gonna do? It wasn't about him. It was about the kids.
Yeah.
I will say, man, Ted's daughter nailed it.
Absolutely. She.
Nailed
Oh my
it.
God. Yeah.
The Bill's daughter. I like her. Like was it the babysitter?
I think so.
Yeah,
Was she in that?
Yeah, she was
Okay.
the babysitter in that.
I didn't see that one, but I keep wanting to.
It's good.
It's on my queue to watch. I just haven't.
It's a clever enough horror movie to be watchable. You know what I mean? So Billy goes on a plane down to San Flan.
Santa Flan.
Santa Flan, named after the patron saints of creamy desserts. Which I'm gonna go on the record and say I don't like flan right now. Not a fan.
No, that's all right.
I'm okay with it.
Gross.
Monster.
On his way down there, him and his male chauvinist buddy, played by the older brother from Blossom, the not Joey Lawrence character, the wet blanket one, looks like he's wearing the same fucking outfit he was wearing on that 90s, just like the 90s
The
drapey
Red Hot
over
Chili
shirt.
Peppers cut off shirt.
I love it. I love it.
Also with the cut off Hawaiian shirt on top of it.
Love every bit of it.
Man.
And the pork pie hat, man. Nothing,
God,
nothing screams incel like a pork pie hat.
Right? Yeah. He acts like it too, actually.
Yeah.
What a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you think the personality originated at, man? People didn't just fucking spring up overnight. We just put terms on them. I did some fucking shitty ass neck beardy incelly shit when I was in high school, but we all do cringy, stupid shit when we don't know it better.
Yeah.
Especially when it wasn't like a worldwide meme. You didn't realize that your behavior was, indicative of other shitty behaviors. You thought you were in your own little bubble of shitty behavior.
I mean, I didn't know I was a douchebag until I saw someone else doing the same douchebag stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah.
So many miladies. Speaking of when they get to Santa Flaw and they pick up the protesting feminists and they're driving. I don't know where they're going to drive. It doesn't matter where they're going.
They were going to another protest.
Where they go? Yeah, he was going to the chemical factory to try and squash a protest. It doesn't fucking matter. They're on their way to the location and they see signs for a freak show and they're supposed to be in South America, but this all just reeks of like something from like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or like a Rob Zombie flick. Like this needs to be set somewhere in the deep South.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of like tropical South America.
Which is exactly what Scuggs' character is. He's, the deep woods hillbilly. And then there are several jokes about him being a yokel. It's like, he's in fucking South America doing experiments. I guarantee you that guy was cloning Hitler 30 years ago.
Speaking of him, when they first showed up, my very first impression of him was that he kind of looked like a combination of Elvis meets Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Elvis.
Yeah, because like he had like that kind of like Elvis-y kind of jacket and look while still kind of looking like Colonel Sanders at the same time.
I would say he was more like
hunka hunka burning chicken is what I got.
I would say he looked more like Uncle Sam on meth.
Okay. With like a marching band director jacket on. Like
Uncle Sam post-Vietnam and the Agent Orange was still getting to him. I want you to see the things I did, man. That Uncle Sam.
Also, I also enjoyed the fact that when he had his like evil monologue at when he first did that like evil monologue talking about all the, whatever the fuck he's about, he had a very pirate-like voice. It reminded me of Barbossa from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And that's the only time he had that voice. It never came back in the rest of the movie. It was just that one scene, that one monologue. He sounded like a fucking Pirates of the Caribbean pirate. And then it stopped.
No, but his delivery on a lot of those lines were great.
Oh yeah, the delivery was funny, but that voice, I'm like, why does he didn't sound like a pirate before this monologue happened? And then it never came back. It's like, okay, well, I guess he's no longer a pirate.
That's fine, but Randy Quaid managed to make the word styrofoam cup one of the most memorable lines in this entire movie.
He really did.
We got through his introduction and his expose, and Joey, I've made this reference before of being found somewhere and making a movie just because. Remember when we watched Star Trek Generations?
Star Trek Generations is a perfect example of that, where so in Star Trek Generations, there's a scene where like Patrick Stewart's coming out and he's looking for William Shatner. He's over there just like, just chopping wood, right?
Yeah.
So based on what we were seeing from that is like, I guarantee you, William Shatner was still in full uniform. He's like, I'm going to chop some wood over there. And literally just went off chopping wood. And they're like, fuck it, roll the cameras. And they just filmed Patrick Stewart literally looking for wherever the fuck William Shatner went. He's just chopping wood in Starfleet uniform.
Yeah, I am not entirely convinced that this isn't a docudrama about Randy Quaid.
So you say that thing he fucked on YouTube wasn't his girlfriend in a mask? That was just a freak he made and fucked?
Yep.
Okay. But that driving up to the freak show in the green screen shot of the car driving.
Dude, that part, when it cut to that random green screen, it literally looked like there was like a painting and there's like, we'll just have a car.
It was a matte painting and someone just like hand moved a little matte car.
Yeah.
That was rough to watch.
You like when you go to the bars, like the big bars that have a lot of games in them, whatever, and there's like the one with like the race ponies like on the sticks, like the old metal ones, like race across.
Yeah.
It was like that kind of motion.
It was very much like that. That cracked me up. And also all the sound effects too. Like as they were driving and like they're hearing all the wild animal sounds.
It's supposed to be bird noises, but it's every famous cartoon bird, like Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah, I heard Woody Woodpecker. They had like Curly from the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, how much did they pay for the rights to use like those sound bites?
This was
I promise
a big
you,
budget movie.
it was not cheap to get that.
Well, I mean, this was who made this fucking movie?
Stuff's not public domain.
20th Century Fox. So I guarantee it was all things Fox owned.
Oh, I bet they do on that.
So
That makes sense.
You're just like, here, you have access to our library. Let's put all these sounds in.
well, let's see. Fox does own Cartoon Network, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And Cartoon Network owns Hanna-Barbera,
Yeah,
and that's Woody Woodpecker, is it
that
not?
is Woody Woodpecker.
There
Yeah,
you go.
so yeah, by proxy, yeah.
So yeah, they probably own the Three Stooges library as well. Which means Disney owns that shit now. There's a fucking Stars logo on the back of this. What does Stars have to do with that? Man, wow. That's depressing. Makes me think less of this movie. Yeah, I thought this was a piece of work, and now it's associated with stars. Ugh. Like Stars is like how the fuck do you buy Stars with a straight face? Like you're like, I don't want HBO or Cinemax or Showtime, but give me that fucking Stars.
The only thing I watched on that was American Gods, and that was just the first season.
No one
And,
watches Stars unless they get a
they
But
did.
that was just because it came with the subscription of whatever we had for the TV service.
Exactly.
So yeah,
You
it
get it
just
for-
came with it. If it wasn't for that, I would not have watched anything on
Stars ran Ash vs. Evil Dead for a little bit.
it. They
I
did.
think-
They did actually.
Then
I didn't
caught it
watch
on
that though
then I
until it was
caught
on
it on
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah, I watched it on Netflix. Yeah, not on Stars.
Maybe if we'd watched on Stars, they would have finished it.
I'm so
Hopefully
pissed. It stopped at third season.
I'm still pissed the fucking Spawn cartoon finished at 3.
That was a good cartoon.
I know. It finished with a cliffhanger.
That was a good movie. That was a good cartoon series. The movie was not good.
Oh, the movie was great. In the
Ooh.
worst possible ways.
Ooh.
All right. So to get to the freak show, we are introduced to Elijah C. Scuggs, played by Randy Quaid, who, again, this is, other than Cousin Eddie in everything except for Christmas Vacation too. This might be the role he was born to play. Like you said, it might just be Randy Quaid being Randy Quaid.
Yeah, I don't think he was acting at all.
Yeah, they stumbled upon his property, and that's where he lived.
He actually has a giant head of himself that just spins and stares
So
at you.
you're saying this is Randy Quaid's equivalent of Nick Cage's Ghost Rider 2?
Yes.
First of all, I love the Ray Harryhausen claymation, which they even gave a little nod to whenever they they combined the chauvinist and the feminist.
Mhm.
You know, that the Cyclops from the old what was it, the Sinbad.
Yeah, bad, yeah.
The Gumby jacking off and
Gumby Jack. A lot of that reminded me of like the Clay Fighter video games.
Yep.
or
I was thinking like,
Celebrity Deathmatch.
yeah, I was thinking like Bad Mr. Frosty. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's showing like,
I remember Clay Fighter. Clay Fighter was fun.
Yeah.
'Cause
because that was my first thought when I saw it. I was like, this is just like Clay Fighter.
right up there with Killer Instinct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I liked I like I like the claymation bits, man. I really love claymation. I love stop motion animation. I know it's ridiculous. I mean, I get giddy every time we watch, RoboCop and shit and the claymation or the stop motion
Yeah,
animation.
yeah, that one, or even in
Ed 209, whatever the fuck it's called. I love that shit, man. I love practical effects. I love when someone makes something by hand and they put it on screen, no matter how terrible it comes out.
yeah,
I enjoy that way more than a digital effect. And not that I don't think digital effect takes work. I mean, I'm sitting around just editing videos and I realize what a pain in the ass that is. I don't even want to fucking make a mat around somebody. I can't imagine going frame by frame and matting things out, which is something that people have to do, which is why these things take, so many damn man hours to put these things out.
Mhm.
Imagine going
a lot
frame
of time, a
by
lot of
individual
money.
frame
Yeah,
to move your mat around somebody. Like every time an actor moves frame by frame, they're probably having to move that mat if they're trying to green screen or put something out.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what a giant pain in the ass that is.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. So I understand that's just editing. That's not even like I'm going to build a wire mesh character and then build its movements and then do all that. Fuck that. I can't even comprehend what you do. I'm simply saying for the longevity of something, it's why when we talk about Krampus, I think Krampus will outlive a lot of other movies simply because of the fact that those practical effects will still look good and hold up 20, 30 years from now.
Yeah.
yeah, they usually do. Because like we went and saw, they did like the Matrix, like 20th anniversary or something like that. And they put it back in theaters.
Yeah.
You can tell like some of those scenes are real dated when it comes to the effects.
Yeah. Janky as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, also our edgelords, the mentality of that late 90s, early 2000s period it's one of those things. It's like when the 80s went unpopular and you're like, oh God, how could people like all that shit from the 80s, all the neon and crap? And now it's popular again and really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh fuck, I can't. I'm not looking forward to the Jinko edgelord shit coming back. The tribal tattoos and
I'm all about the Jinko thing. If they come back, I'm getting a pair.
They have been back.
Where have I been? Yeah. Yeah.
The only people who need to wear Jinkos are skinny, hot chicks who wear them low rise with their thong sticking out the side. The Lita look.
Yeah. With the panties over the hip.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the only people who need to wear Jinkos.
I could do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I could do that.
Our main character is turned into half a freak, and we have this huge gremlin makeup that poor Alex Winter had to wear, which kept his mouth open the entire time. And like he's drooling the whole movie. And it's real drool because the prosthetic mouth wouldn't close, which just added to the effect, really. So I guess it all works out in the end. The opening scene where we meet the freaks and they do the Hollywood squares with the Paul Lynde reference. Which,
good.
if you don't know who Paul Lynde is, it's Roger the Alien from American Dad, basically. He was on Bewitched and he was the center square forever. That's the joke. But he was dead at the time. Never mind.
Hence the skeleton.
Yeah, hence the skeleton. You get introduced to all the freaks. Nosy, who's a giant nose. Bobcat Goldthwait, who's a sock puppet head character.
Googly eyes.
The giant worm who, again, would sell his soul to wipe his own ass since he doesn't have arms anymore. Poor bastard. The femme fatale pinhead woman.
Yeah, cowboy.
Cowboy who's a cow.
Cowboy, yeah. The cow that dressed like a cow. Yeah, that one. I think he's one of my favorites.
Eternal Flame, which is a guy just farting. The hideous frogman, who's a guy in like a frogman wetsuit, who we later find out is French because you gotta just keep hitting that one.
Oh yeah, got it.
And then of course, in an uncredited cameo here, Ortiz the dog boy, played by Keanu Reeves, in like full fur makeup. And I love it when he like introduces himself, Ortiz, and like does like a hand here, and then the foot comes out at the bottom of the screen and scratches the ear. Like they were obviously having a blast doing this.
Yeah.
Like you can always tell whenever Keanu and Alex are together on screen, they're just having a damn good time.
Yeah.
And it's always fun to watch them in a movie, and this was no different. I love this movie so much. It's so fucking ridiculous. Mr. T playing the bearded lady. So like of course, Alex Winter's character is all like bummed out and stuff. And so they all come up and start like giving their backstories, the worms, like, I studied worms and then I got trapped here, and Bobcat Goldthwait's like, I was just on vacation. Sorry, I'm not good at stories. And they keep showing, them as humans, then going to their transition. And I like the Mr. T one where he's like,
when I first arrived here, I was nothing like I am now. I was confused, a walking contradiction, so full of questions.
You'd be better off without a dick. Hey, you can keep the beard. Hallelujah.
But now I know who I am. I can say to the world, hey, this is me. I am woman, and I like me.
My favorite, of course, was the hammer.
Oh yeah, the
this
hammer.
This is how the joke. So this is how the joke builds. You got 1, 2, 3, and then after they're all done telling their stories, we just pan to the ground, and there's a hammer sitting there.
Man, that's rough.
And like, I can't help but like think like all these like segues and like little skits they showed throughout it. It's probably what really influenced Seth MacFarlane as well with most of the Family Guy stuff, because
You felt like there was a lot of cutaway.
It was a lot of those segues where it's like, where the hell did this even come from? Like the hammer and the wrench thing. Like I could see that being a possible skit from like Family Guy in the early, when it came out, like, 99 or whatever.
That's one of the best jokes, though, the build up for that. Because each one of those jokes was get funnier. And then, the worm guy, not so funny. The Bobcat, a little funny because he cut it off. Mr. T.
Mr. T was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Again, that was a joke that built to just utter completely ridiculous. You're like, okay, I can't believe I just fucking sat through that. Which was, I think, the feeling you kind of had overall for the movie was, I can't believe I just sat through that.
Yeah. Like I said, I disassociated there towards the end. I just didn't remember where I was. Lord help me.
So ultimately, they come to find out, that the Elijah's in bed with the
EES.
EES, and they're going to use his chemical, his knowledge and their chemicals to make like the perfect workers who don't have to shit. They have a bunch of arms, and secretaries with 3 mouths and a bunch of arms. I don't know if they answer phones or suck dicks. I don't know what the implication there was, but it's the 90s, so it's probably something horrific.
Probably so, yeah.
They're going to do all these horrific things. They're going to put change the water and make the perfect consumer and, evil stuff. And like, just to drive home how evil it's going to be, fucking, the bad guy, my bad guy's like, if anyone opposes us, we'll be like wading in knee deep in the blood of their children.
I love that phrase, knee deep in the blood of their children. I don't know why. I really liked it.
It sounds like an album title you would have come up with.
Yeah, it would definitely be a Cancer Slug album
Definitely
title.
would be a Cancer Slug album title.
Yeah.
And the gags in this are hilarious. Ricky decides he's going to escape or whatever, and he takes a milkman's uniform, and then he's trying to get to the milk truck and it's locked. And he goes to a car and it's locked. Then he goes to like a bike that's got a chain on it that's locked. Then he goes to a boat.
There's a club
that's got the club on there, and
the boat that's on a trailer.
Yeah. Everyone in this.
Then, of course, he turns around and they're all the freaks are out there wearing milkman outfits.
Yeah, well, he gets caught by the Rastafarian eyes.
The
Rastafari
eyes, yeah.
And Elijah C. Scuggs reveals his plan that he's going to finish turning him to a complete monstrous freak that's going to, at the next freak show, kill all the other freaks. And he won't have a choice about it. It's going to.
Oh, that's right, because he pulled that one dude's head off in the freak show.
At the freak show, and they had their first performance. And he did some Shakespeare and stuff with the translation at the bottom. I'm ugly. I don't get laid. But as he's going back, after being thwarted, after being caught by the Rastafari's, that's when he encounters all the rest of the freaks who are all dressed up like milkmen to escape.
The Hammer was too.
Yeah, Mr. T is holding the hammer that's also dressed up like a little milkman.
Who has fake arms and the fake milk.
Yeah, fake milk. Yeah.
It's those little things that really just brings me joy. Because the moment I saw the Hammer was also a milkman, I fucking lost it.
So at this point in time, Ortiz, the dog boy, and their main character, Alex Winter, get into a West Side Story style brawl with the switchblade and his big thumb dagger. And then again, Randy Quaid delivers one of my favorite lines of the movie. So he looks outside, it's like, milkmen on one route. No wonder they fight. Damn it.
Telling you docudrama, yo.
So the freaks devise a plan to sneak into the chemical lab and make a compound that will make a good freak that will kill Elijah as opposed to kill all them. And when all this happens, they knock over the styrofoam cup.
Yeah, they're
making all sorts of fucking noise, and then they turn all the noise off. All right, shh, no more mistakes. And he knocks over a styrofoam cup, which like lightly hits the ground, and we get cut to Randy Quaid in his like bedroom or his like living room. Turns around, it's like,
Now look, from now on, no more screw-ups, okay?
Styrofoam cup.
God, the delivery on that was great.
That was a good delivery. I like the way that he turned and looked, and like the look in his eyes. Like that was really good.
The intensity in it.
I loved it.
But he goes and inspects, and they escape and drop it. But all the freaks are mad because he dropped the chemical compound. But he's like, "Don't worry, I stole some macaroons from the lab. There's enough for all of us." Like, fuck yeah! There's a big drunken party because of the macaroons.
Pass out his macaroons everywhere in beer bottles.
We wake up the next day, and there's the bad guy, the corporate guys have all shown up, and they're unloading the board members, all the old guys, like from the back of a truck.
The one at the end just falls off and like hits his face on the truck in the back of the truck.
That looked like an actual person.
It
too.
did.
It didn't look like a dummy. It looked like it hurt so bad. It had to be a dummy, but damn it looked like an actual person. It looked fucking awful.
The way it fell. Oh my
Yes.
God. That was too funny. I also like that they were all, when they're first in the boardroom and it shows all those guys are just sitting there next to each other, you're just like, okay, there's a bunch of old guys sitting together. But then as soon as
They vote.
they go to vote, the guy that plays Death is like pulling that lever and it had like strings on their arms. They're all like raising their hands.
William Sadler.
William Sadler. Oh, well, you didn't remember the name earlier.
I didn't remember it again. That's why I had to pick up the thing.
Mr. Death in the red tie.
Yeah, Death.
But watching those old guys all raise their hands because there's like wires on their arms. And
The end where they're clapping.
yeah, and they're clapping
He's
too.
just
That
moving
was
the
so
thing up and
good.
down.
That was so good.
No, there's a lot of little funny things in this, and like there's a lot of just random, just shotgun humor. Just like let's just throw it at the wall, see what sticks, man. Just fire that thing, get a large enough spread, and there's just constantly shit happening. The movie's very fast and vibrant, and I like makeup effects. I like this style of shit. I like the over the topness of it. I like the slapstick. In this, it works. Like,
Yeah.
it's because like you say, like, oh, slapstick and like stuff like the date movies and those kind of fucking just references for reference sakes. Like there was a couple of dated references in here, like Larry Bud Melvin running around and the Paul Lynde joke, but
The Bob Vila thing when they're wanting to build a toilet. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, for the most part, there wasn't a whole lot in here you didn't get. You know, it was minimal.
Yeah.
You know, so I like the gag a minute. I like the abuse of Stewie, the fanboy, the little redhead, getting kicked out of the plane.
Yeah, him being sucked out of the plane, man.
So at the end, Elijah, the corporate guys are trying to steal his machine, double cross Elijah, and he's turned Ricky into a horrible monster, and the little kid gets the good chemical, but he gets it poured on him because he's annoying by some biker, and so he turns into a giant monster himself. He looks like something out of Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like Rat Fink.
Yeah,
Some of it looked like this people maybe Rat Fink got some of their ideas because some of it looked like a lot of the characters with the bulging eyes.
Yeah.
it was
and,
very Rat Finky. Yes.
Yeah.
We look up. There's like 3 different production houses that did this, and one of them's like Howlin' Mad George or Crazy Super Mad George. I can't remember his name, but he's done a lot of these weird ass fucking effects. I think he was like the big shoe at the end and stuff. I'll have to go look up the name and all that shit he did again. But most of the $12 million budget on this film did go to the effects, and rightfully so. It was
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of like the Trolls for like Ernest Scared Stupid and some of the other stuff like that.
Our payoff though is the villains try and double cross the corporate villains try and double cross Scuggs, and he shoots him the bazooka full of Nickelodeon slime, and it turns them into a giant shoe monster
Because they are everything except shoes.
everything except shoes.
And now they are just shoe.
Now they're just shoe.
One shoe.
Yeah, which I think was a Chimpokemon, right? Ah, shoe.
Chin Pokemon.
Yeah. The Stewie and is it Ricky or Billy? Is it Billy or Ricky? What's the character's name? Billy
Ricky.
Coogan or Ricky Coogan?
It was Ricky.
Ricky Coogan? I keep wanting to say Billy for some reason. It's Bill and Ted.
Yeah, I think you're thinking Bill and Ted.
Billy Coogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ricky
Billy
Coogan. Yeah.
Corgan.
Yeah, Ricky Coogan. That's what I thought. Billy Corgan.
I like that we
Yeah,
keep
that's
having to reference back to the box.
Yeah. This copy of this, it's a print on demand copy. Like I had to like get to hold of a place that just made things like on demand to order because like everyone else wants like $100 for these Blu-rays now. Rightfully so.
I'd rather find it on VHS.
If you got a working VHS, go nuts. I don't have a working VHS player anymore. But they beat up Scuggs, and Ricky has a change of heart and lets Stewie into his heart, and Scuggs is like, if you kill me, you'll never find the antidote, which was like put in these time released macaroons. They're like, oh yeah, we ate the macaroons, so they kick him in the dick, and he falls into a vat of chemicals and turns into Brooke Shields, who has been narrating this whole thing, because the whole thing's been framed by
Talk show.
a talk
it's like
show run
yeah.
by Brooke Shields. And Billy's looking like he's been in shadows the whole time, just seeing the silhouette. It looks like it's monster makeup, and they pull the lights up at the end, and he's just got a cactus behind him, and he's fine.
Yeah, it looks normal.
And of course, they bring the freaks out, and they're all cured except for Worm because he didn't like macaroons. He's like, this is bullshit just because a man doesn't like macaroons.
Yeah.
It's like when you found that out, like I remember seeing Mr. T passed out with at least 2 of those macaroons in his hand. Like there's got to be this one that, like, I'll go eat a dirty fucking macaroon off the floor if it means not being a worm anymore. Like, shit, you've done worse.
Yeah.
So I just say there was a solution there. I'm feeling.
Yes.
They gun down it turns out that the Brooke Shields is, you know, really Elijah the entire time and gets gunned down by the feminist who's no longer a feminist and wearing a sundress and kisses Ricky because we got to have the guy gets the girl, even though nothing built up to that in the entire movie.
There was no romance story whatsoever.
Just out of left field, just because this is how movies end.
Yeah, why not?
Which was, again, I think just part of the ridiculousness of it.
And you figure she would have maybe kissed the guy that she was, you know, sharing a torso with when they were conjoined, but
like maybe he learned something and they got together.
Yeah, he learned something, she learned something, and now they're together.
No, the main guy gets the girl because
just because. Well,
he was one kind of hitting her in the beginning in the first place. That's like how they got her in their group because he was pretending to be a wounded person all bandaged up to hit on her.
Looked like a mummy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess he was gonna take her to some discreet location and have his way with her and then reveal who he was. So it's basically rape. He was gonna rape her.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
okay.
That's. Yeah.
All right. So this is one of those little gems of a movie that I never knew existed. And now that I do, I'm absolutely in love with it. It's kind of like the first time someone told me Operation Ivy was a thing. You know what I mean?
I can agree with that.
That I love this movie a lot and I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I've forced you into it. I think Alex Winter's hilarious. I enjoy him from Bill and Ted to Lost Boys to this. And so
it is interesting he went from Lost Boys to Bill and Ted and then to this.
Hey man.
And then back to Bill and Ted, I think.
And he's a good director. I like the man. And you know, Bill and Ted, you can tell that he had a lot to do with Bill and Ted too, especially if you're watching this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of the hellscape stuff was very similar to this kind of thing. I like his twisted over the top kind of sick sense of humor.
Yeah.
It's like Green Jelly, the movie.
Didn't think about that.
I mean,
I also
picture 3 little piggies playing over this entire film and tell me there's not a scene it doesn't fit.
Yeah, you're right. I dig the part that made me laugh really, like especially at the end, was that whole Friday the 13th kind of ending, where you know they killed Brooke Shields, Randy Quaid.
Oh yeah, that she jumps out the very
and like as like bye, waving to the camera, like she just jumps out like and it just stops there. It's like it's just
literally
like
freeze frame, just like Ari,
just like when Ari jumped out of the lake. Yeah, I was like, that's a Friday the 13th ending.
Were you there when we got high with Ari?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was not.
I'll tell you that story sometime. Oh man, final thoughts, Caidan?
I guess if you want to find the money to buy this print on demand version, do it if you have the extra money. I don't know. Don't. Whatever.
I don't know.
It's your life. Do what you want to do. I don't know if I died as much inside with this movie as I have with some of the other ones.
This was entertaining. Megaforce was a fucking slog.
Yeah, this was entertaining. It went by fast. It seemed a lot shorter than it was.
Yeah.
It kept me entertained and I stayed focused on it the whole time because it moved so fast.
Like I said, it had its moments. I laughed at some of it towards the end there, just kind of like disassociated, just zoned out because I was done with it.
I was like
that.
The
gag had run its course for you. You were just ready to be done.
I was like that with the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie when I saw that in the theaters.
Well, it was actually a funny bit. They cut 11 minutes out of it and they referenced that with the whole, like, you've been talking for 90 minutes. We really need to cut you off. The audience kind of felt like the test science kind of felt like you essentially. So they cut a bunch of it out and they made a reference to it. The whole, like, you've been talking for 90 minutes. We really need to cut to our machismo commercial.
Oh, that fucking commercial with the cheese in the can. Oh, that
the
weird,
cheese in the can is
it just squeezes, it just comes out. Oh man, that was
So foul.
I like that. That's the one thing the only thing that grossed me out about that movie was the cheese in the can.
You got his costume with like pimples shooting green pus every time he talks, and we're all like grossed out by the room temperature liquid cheese.
Yeah, the cheese is what got me. All the
gelatinous
gross
cheese.
shit, all like the gross effects. I thought were cool and funny. The cheese was nasty.
I don't trust cheese that's liquid at room temperature.
Or in a can with a pop top, for that matter.
Oh.
So what they do with the nacho cheese and
I don't eat nacho
Concession-
cheese. It's gross.
concession stands and stuff is just in a can.
Yeah, I don't eat that shit either.
No, don't tell me that because I like that cheese.
Buy a can, you just punch it both sides. Go on.
Just shotgun it,
Yeah. Final thoughts.
I like it. I'll probably get myself a copy.
It is in my top 20 movies. I've got to say.
I loved it. I could definitely watch it again.
Yeah. I recommend getting a hold of it. It's a lot of fun. It's hilarious. And then again, I like that kind of in your face 90s humor.
If I didn't have to drive back home and I could get completely just fucked off stoned, I might enjoy it better.
That's fair enough. It's fair enough. We'll watch it again next time on a weekend. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this very special episode of Ramble On. I've been Vlad St. Valentine's, Caidan Ramos. This is Egon Strangler. You guys have a good night and say hi to your mother for me.